guys, how are you all? My name is Afreen Azmat and I welcome you all in today's session. So this session is indeed very important for all of you guys. Why? Because in this session of PPP, I'm going to cover all modules, module A, B, C, D in this complete one video. So you will not only get the conceptual clarity, but a lot of questions also to practice yourself. This video is very important for all you bankers, for your preparation and for your clearing clearing your examination. Thank you so much, everyone. Just watch this video and enjoy. Thank you. Now we are starting with the module C. So module C, essentials of banking computerization. This is unit 42. So let's start discussing this topic. First of all, if we talk about the bank computerization, so bank computerization, it was started in year 1983. Bank computerization, the concept that the bank should have a computer or the banking system should be done through the computerization, or there are stages and possibilities that you have to involve computerization in the banking system, and you have to prepare guidelines for the same. So for the introduction of C in year 1983, Dr. C Rangarajan committee has actually represented the possibilities and stages to involve bank computerization and prepare guidelines for the same. Clear? Now, if we talk about the report that is submitted by the committee in year 1984, and this committee report was known as the first Rangarajan committee report on banking mechanization, right? So this committee has actually introduced the concept of computerization system in India. So another committee, it was constituted in year 1988, and it was the Dr. C Rangarajan committee again, and it actually draw a perspective plan that how to introduce the computerization in the banking system for a 5-year period, and that is from 1990 to 1994. Clear? So if we're talking about banking computerization, first of all, Dr. C. Rangarajan Committee. Which committee is responsible for introducing banking computerization? It was Dr. C. Rangarajan Committee. It was in the year 1983 that started the banking computerization phase, okay, or that recommended the stages that how you should involve banking computerization in the banking system. 1984, the committee has been established, and according to 1984, the first Rangarajan Committee report has been published on banking mechanization. Now, another committee, it was constituted in year 1988 under the chairmanship of Dr. C. Rangarajan, and that drew a perspective plan on the computerization of banks for a 5-year period, that is from 1990 to 1994. Now, the four major objective of banking computerization. What are the main objective? Why there was the discussion to involve computer in the banking system, how this computerization actually helps the banking system? So if we talk about the four major objective of the banking computerization, first of all, it is for improving the customer service. The very first thing is it has to improve the customer services, right? Second, the decision making. Okay, for the better decision making, banking computerization has been introduced. For housekeeping and for productivity and profitability. So for all these purposes, banking computerization has been introduced. So these are the four major objectives of the banking computerization, right? Very important that which committee is responsible for the banking computerization. It was Dr. C. Rangarajan committee which was responsible for the banking computerization. Clear? Now next, if we talk about the next thing, bank computerization can have the two parts. There is the stand-alone computer system and there are multi-user systems also. A stand-alone computer system, this is the system that is defined for single user operation. So if you are a single user, so for a single user operation, the system that has been designed is known as the stand-alone computer system, and particularly it is for data processing, analysis, task analysis, etc. Okay, it is not suitable for the multi-users environment. So it is actually suitable for a single user environment. It is not suitable for the multi-user environment. Second, could be connected to a larger system to access shared information, right? The major advantages of a single user system is, first of all, there is a low equipment cost. Second, less complicated software. Third, easy operational training of the bank, the staff, and better security control. Second, if we talk about the single user system, these have some limitations also, like slow processing speed, because it is meant for the single user, right? So it has a slow processing speed. It has the low data storage capacity. Okay, and whereas advantages of the single user system is that they have a low equipment cost, they have less complicated software, they have easy operational training of the bank staff, they have better security and control. So these are some of the advantages and disadvantages of the standalone computer system. Clear? Now, if we talk about the multi-user system, so multi-user system, first of all, it allows simultaneous access to multi-users. Okay, simultaneous access to multi-user. Second, if we talk about the this multi-user system, these have a centralized processing on high capacity servers. Centralized processing, there is a centralized processing on high capacity server. Third, it is ideal for online applications and centralized data processing. The branches services can also be provided through alternate delivery channels, like there are ATMs, internet banking, and the mobile apps. So these are the multi-user system. So standalone computer, it is meant for the single user operation, whereas multi-user system, it allows simultaneous access to the multi-user. Right? Now, next, if we talk about the branch level virtualization or computerization, so in the very first phase, when there was a talk that we have to introduce computerization in the banking system, bank has adopted the branch level mechanization. Okay, where stand-alone systems were used at the very first stage. Okay, now, these systems, these are known as ALPMs, means automatic ledger posting machines, right? Now, what are the advantages of the branch level computerization system? So, if the computerization has been introduced in the branching level, okay, these automatic ledger posting machines, these are not interconnected with each other. Okay, so these are the standalone systems. So they have, you are a single users, and for you single access is allowed. Okay, now if we talk about the advantages, advantages are, first of all, it provides better and speedy customer services. Is provide what? Better and speedy customer service. Second, it helps to improve the housekeeping. It helps to improve what? It helps to improve the housekeeping. Third, it analyzes the branch level data for decision making. Fourth, it generates the various reports. So these are the advantages of the branch level computerization. So it's provide better and speedy customer service. It improves the housekeeping. It analyzes the branch level data for decision making, or it generates various reports. These are the advantages of the branch level computerization. Now, total branch automation, it is in mid 90s. Okay, so first of all, there was a multi-user computer system. Second, it was fully computerized banking function. Third, there was instant, secure, and integrated transaction. Single window concept. In single window concept, customers are actually allowed to transact the complete transaction at a single counter. So you could not, you don't have to move from different to different windows for executing your financial transaction. The concept of single window concept is actually given for the enhancement of the customer quality, right? For the enhancement of the customer service. So there is a single window concept where the customer can transact and complete all their transaction at a single counter. To handle the transaction of the specific products, like there is a saving and currents and loan account, so all can be done under one roof. So this is the total branch automation which was introduced in mid 90s, right? Now, then there was at the branch level computerization, then there was total branches automation, then the computerization which has been introduced in the regional, circle, or zonal office, right? So the what is the function of the computerization that has been introduced in the regional, circle or zonal office? First of all, it oversees the branch operation. It oversees what? The branch operation. It collects and consolidates data for the head office. Common tasks are it helps in managing the branch profiles, it helps in credit monitoring and personal data. So these are the branches computerization at the regional, circle and zonal offices. Now, lastly, the computers has been introduced at the head office level also. Now, the head office, it is responsible for all the major things of the bank. You all know everything is controlled by the head office, right? So for the head office, if we talk about the head office, it is responsible for bank level planning, control, functions, policy decisions, etc. If we talk about the head office activities, these are divided into different functional area, right? Now, there was operations and plannings and personnels and international business and services. These are all the functional areas of the head office. So obviously, introducing computer at the head office, it's actually a very good way of improving the planning structure of the complete organization, or you can say bank, right? So the head office, these are divided into these five functional areas. You have to learn this. There is operation, there is planning, there is personal, there is international business, and there are services. Clear? Now next, if we talk about the networking technologies, the very important thing is the networking technologies in bank. What are the networking technologies in the bank? So there are different type of networking technologies. There is a LAN, there is a WAN. Okay. So if we talk about LAN, first of all, local area network, LAN. Okay. When you connect the computer and network devices and the peripherals, when you connect all the computers and network devices and all the peripherals within a localized area, okay, say within a building, then it is known as LAN. Then it is known as what? LAN, local area network, right? So in LAN, there are each independent system which is known as a node. There are each independent system which are known as what? Which are known as node, and such nodes are interconnected. It is known as what? It is known as LAN. Usually there will be one central node which is known as server, providing the control of the whole network services. Okay, so if we talk about the think of the LAN. LAN is you are connecting the computers and network devices and peripherals, and you are connected it within a localized area, or you can say within a building or within a localized area. Then it is known as LAN, local area network. So in a LAN, if we talk about the LAN, each independent system is actually called as node. So there are each independent system. If you are seeing this diagram, each independent system, these are known as nodes, and nodes are interconnected with each other, and then they formed an area which is known as LAN. Now, each is connected to a central node which is known as server. So there is a central node which is known as server, which is connected and which control all the complete clear. So this is the local area network. Clear? If we talk about the network topology, so network topologies are different types. So under a LAN, there are different type of arrangements. So there is a local area network, and for local area network, there are different type of arrangements, which is known as topology. Topology is what? Topology is actually the physical and logical arrangement of nodes and connections, right? So the physical and the logical arrangement of nodes and connections are called as network topology, right? So if we talk about nodes, nodes include switches, nodes includes routers, nodes includes softwares, okay? Nodes includes each and everything, okay? Now, if we talk about the network topology, network topologies has different layouts, like there are star topology, there is a bus topology, and there is a ring topology. So if we talk about the star, bus and ring topology, so just see the figure in detail. I'm just giving you the details of each and every topology. First of all, there is a you can say star topology. So star topology, you know that there is a central node. In a star topology, you will see there is a central node, right? And all the devices, right? all the devices are connected with this central nodes, right? Now, in the star topology, this central node is actually called as the master node, which is actually serving as a master node, and all the other nodes are connected to this master node with a separate medium or cable. Okay, with a separate medium or cable. So this is known as star topology. Now, in this topology, if one nodes fail, okay, it will not affect the entire network because each is connected via several cable or different medium to a central node. So if there is a failure of any one node, it is not affecting the other nodes. So it is known as the star topology. Now, next talk about the bus topology. Now, see, bus topology, all the devices are connected with a single continuous network. So there are different type of devices, and all these devices are connected with a single continuous network, or you can say single continuous cable. Okay, now transmission here from any of the workstation travels the entire cable in both the direction and received by all the workstation. So if there is a transmission of any one information, it is received by all the devices and it flow in both the direction, right? In bus topology. If we talk about the bus topology, again, if one workstation fails, it will not affect the entire network. If one fails, it will not affect the entire network. Clear? Now, third is the ring topology. Now, ring topology, all devices are connected. See, all devices are connected in a closed loop. See, it is connected in a closed loop in a rings, right? Now, here, whatever the data transmission is there, it is possible only in one direction. So as the packet circulate, the destination recognizes its address and copies the packet content onto it. And break it down here, breakdown of any of the one server if actually affect the entire network. So here the breakdown doesn't affect the entire network. Here the breakdown again doesn't affect the entire network, but here the breakdown affects the whole network, right? So this is the networking topology, the most important networking topology. Is clear? So it is the bus topology, it is the ring topology, and it is what? It is the star topology. Now, if you have any doubt in the whole topology system, you can ask your doubt, everyone. If you have any doubt, please feel free to ask your doubt. No doubt? Okay. Now you just read it out. Very simple. Bus topology. It is connected to a single continuous network. So devices are connected to what? A single continuous network. Now there are easy setup. Failure in any one workstation, it doesn't affect the others workstation. Now it limits the geographical spread and flexibility. Second, there is a ring topology. Devices, these are connected and form a closed loop, and there is a unidirectional data transmission. Unidirectional means in both the ways data is transmitted. Now, star topology, there is a central node which is acting as a master node and all the other nodes are connected separately. Easy changes, failure of one node doesn't affect the entire network. May struggle with the high traffic due to reliance on any one central node. Clear? Reliance on any one central node. Clear? Now, tree topology. If we talk about the tree topology, in tree topology, there is one root node, one intermediate node, and one leaf node. Okay, then there is a root node which is known as the head node of this structure. The leaf nodes are the last node and do not have any of the child node. It is constructed in a hierarchical form, and any node can have any number of child nodes, right? So these are the networking technologies in the banking system. These are networking technologies in banking system. Now, if we talk about the network protocols, what is network protocols? Network protocols are actually the sets of the rules and procedures for transferring data between electronic devices, right? So if one computer, you have to transfer any data from one computer to another. You have to transmit any data from one electronic device to another. So there are certain rules and procedures, set of rules and procedures that guidelines the transmission of data from one to another. That is known as network protocols. Okay, so protocols are different set of rules of communication that are similar module of processes, right? The network protocols depend upon the adapters, okay, and there are different type of adapters like Ethernet and token NIC. Like Ethernet, it is a technology used for connecting device in LAN or WAN. Okay, it enables the device to communicate with each other with a set of rules or a common network language. Whereas a token ring, this sends data in one direction by using a okay, so network protocol is important thing. It is a set of the rules and procedures that help in transmitting data between the electronic devices, right? Now, there are some advantages of LAN and disadvantages of LAN. Advantages are single window concept becomes reality. It actually allows the sharing of resources like you can share printers, scanners, and storage devices. The information stored on a central node is available to all the other devices so there is no need for duplication of the data, right? And since all machines are intelligent, the processing load shares in the machine and there is no overload on any single machine, right? So these are some of the advantages of the LAN, local area network. Now what are the disadvantages of LAN? First, there are complicated softwares, right? Second, security risks are what? Security risks are higher. And third, maintenance cost is very high. Okay, so these are some of the advantages and these are some of the disadvantages of LAN, local area network, right? Now, next, if we talk about the WAN, wide area network. So if you connect the computer and devices in a geographical area, sizable geographical area, then it is known as WAN, wide area network. So LAN is actually connecting your computer and devices within a localized area. Means you can say building or house. But when you are connecting the computers and devices across a sizable geographical area, then it is known as WAN, wide area network. Now, while WAN is used to generally interconnect branches to the regional zonal offices and to the head offices, right? Now, if we talk about the speed, the transmission speed in actually WAN is actually low if we compared it to LAN, right? There are separate and dedicated data lines that are used to connect in the WANs. You can use the lease line network, you can use the satellite link, microwave link, dial-up networks. These are all the different type of networks which can be used for connecting two or more computers under a wide area network, and you can use a combination of all these methods also. Clear? Discuss about this PPB module C, that is operational aspects of core banking system environment. This is unit 43. So operational aspects of CBS environment, unit 43, module C, PPB. We are going to discuss this chapter today, the most important thing related to this chapter. First of all, let's start with the core banking introduction. Core banking solution. If we talk about the introduction, what is the core banking solution? What is the important thing related to the core banking solution? Okay, so core solution, first of all, is a platform where communication technology and IT meet. Actually, it is a environment where communication technology and information technology, they merge together and they suit the core banking needs. Information technology is all about how computer works, while communication technology is how about communication between the people. It is actually facilitating the communication between the people, right? So the core banking solutions actually is a combination of two things. It is a combination of communication technology plus it is a combination of information technology. Now, if we talk about information technology, it is all about what is computer, how the computer works. It is all about how the computer works. Whereas communication technology is all about how people communicate with each other. Then it is known as communication technology. When we are talking about the communication technology, in communication technology, it doesn't only includes the computer, but it also include all the telephones and radios and faxes and other devices, right? So all the you can say all the computers, telephones, radios, and faxes and other devices. These are all included in what? These are all included in communication technology. If we talk about the core banking functions, core banking function depends upon the specific type of bank. Under the core banking solution, the client software is installed at different branches of the bank. So in this core banking solution, the thing is, the client software is actually installed at different branches of the bank, and they connect the central server for accessing and updating the customer information and their transactions. So core banking functions like core banking solution, all the things, all the branches are connected to client software. So there is a specified and central server, right? And all the branches are actually connected with this central server. Okay, and it's do what it actually help in accessing and updating the information. It actually does what? It actually helps and update the information, right? So if we talk about the branches are connected to the central server through lease line and other networking technologies. So example of core banking solution, so there are different example of core banking solution like Finacle Invoices. There is TCS is using DANCS Bansys. Invoices is using Finacle. FlexCube is used by Oracles. Clear? Done? Okay, done. So this is the core banking solution. So in core banking solution, it core banking functions always depends upon the specific type of bank, right? So it have a client software installed at different branches, which is connected to a main central server. Whenever there is any customer who wants to what, who wants to update the customer information, there is any changes in the customer bank account or anything, that update is directly done to the central server and it's reached to each and every and different branches, right? Okay, done. Now, core banking solution. So, if we talk about the functions that are performed by the core banking solution, so what are the functions that are performed by the core banking solution? So, there are different functions that has been performed by the core banking solution. So, if we talk about the different function, there is customer account management, there is office account management, loan disbursement and management, cash deposits and withdrawal. There are transaction management, inputs and output clearing process, calculation of interest on advance and deposit, charges and fees applications. So these are different type of functions which are performed by the core banking solution. They help in the application of minimum balance charges, transaction charges, checks, books charges, etc. The assets classification and income recognition, the non-performing assets management, the customer relationship management, the interface with the payment system. There are interfaces with the alternate delivery channel. There are generations of report, multi-currencies, balance sheet, profit and loss account statement, right? So if we talk about the thing, common banking, the core banking solution, there are different functions that has been provided or performed by the core banking solution. What are the different functions? These are the specific different functions which are performed by the core banking solution. Now, if we talk about the flow of transactions in a core banking solution, so there are different flow of transactions in the core banking solution. So there are three main type of transactions. If we talk about the core banking solution, there are three main type of transaction in the core banking solution. We have the cash, we have clearing, and we have transfer, right? So in any core banking solution, there are three specific types of transaction. This is cash, clearing, and transfer, right? So if we talk about the branches has to use the login system, and there is a user ID and password with the biometric authentication at the core banking solution terminal. Because see, every data, this is actually the data gold, yeah, digital gold, you can say. All the data is actually in the core banking solution, is actually in the central server. So for accessing that central server, every one need to have a specific user ID and a password, and along with the biometric authentication, so that there cannot be any uninterpreted or unwanted interference in the central server of the banking system. Customer log in through various delivery channels using their credentials. So how the customers can log in? They can use the various delivery channels for and use their credentials. Now, transactions also includes what? If we talk about the transaction, this also include various type of non-financial transactions. So there are various type of non-financial transaction in the core banking solution. What are the various type of non-banking solution? Like there is an updated account parameters, there is stock management register, there is balance inquiry, there is alert, right? So these are all the transactions which are included in the non-financial transaction. Updating account parameters, stock maintenance register, the balance inquiry alert, right? These are all in the core banking solution. So once the transaction hits the central database, the system will be validating the transaction and debit or credit a particular amount, and the message is sent back to the user at the branch. So when there is any transaction that hits the central base database, so all the branches, these are connected with what? All the branches, these are connected with the central database. Yes, so once there is any transaction which is done in the central database, the system first of all validate the transaction. First of all, the system accept the transaction and then debit or credit the particular account. Then if, for example, there is some credit, there is debit and credit in the particular account, right? Then there is a message that is sent back to the user branches as to others whether the transaction is completed or not completed. So this is the flow of transaction in the core banking solution. Now, in a core banking solution, when we are talking about this, there are some transaction which is known as end of the day transaction, and there is some beginning of the day transaction. So as the word says, beginning of the day means you have to do this transaction before starting the day, and end of the day when you have to do this certain transaction at the end of the day. So beginning of the day operation, first of all, beginning of the day processes a new transactions for the bank, right? So if you are starting the new transactional day for the bank, then you have to what? You have to process this beginning of the day operations, right? So for beginning of the day operation, if we are talking about the beginning of the day operation, there are different type of transaction which you need to have in the beginning of the day transactions. Now, if end of the day transaction for the previous day is not completed, so first you have to complete the end of the day transaction and then only you can begin the beginning of the day transaction, right? So there are some functions in the beginning of the day operations. If we talk about some functions, there are some functions in the beginning of the day operations, like first of all, you have to start a new day. The very first thing is what? The very first thing is you have to start a new day, right? Second, time deposit processing related to interest and maturity. So there are some time processes which are related to interest and maturity. Then there are some standing instruction execution. If you have some pending instruction which you have to execute that also. Then you value the date of processing of the checks, right? Then you have the salary processing. If you have to process any salary, you have to process at the beginning of the day, right? Then you have to check any overdraft limit expiry. So if there is expiry of any overdraft limit, please you can check that, right? So these are all the beginning of the day transaction. But one thing is very important, that first you have to complete the end of the day transaction. First you have to complete this EOD, and then only you start the beginning of the day operations. So these are all the functions of the beginning of the day operations. You have to start a new day. You have to no, see whether there is a time deposit, and if there is any matter which is related to the interest and deposit of the time deposit, you have to follow out the complete or a standing instruction. You have to validate processing of the checks. Then there is a salary processing. Then you have to expire, or you have to see the overdraft limit. If there is any expiry of the overdraft limit, you have to see that also. Clear? Now, end of the day operation. So these are some of the activities which you have to do when you are ending a new day. Okay, so if you are ending the day, what are the transactions that you have to do at the end of the day? First of all, day end activities carried out by the authorized personnel, and there should be an authorized personnel which who are properly documented and monitored through a checklist, right? So end of the day transaction, so there should be an authorized personnel first of all, and the document should be properly monitored and documented through a checklist. Second, minimum balances are calculated. Whatever minimum balances they have, they should be calculated. Product are calculated for the current account. Then mandatory reports are generated. Fallback procedures activated. Day end backup is taken. You have to record the entries in the backup register. You have to record entries in logbooks. You have to fill the report. You have to shut down the computers. Complete computer system. The data backups are taken properly and documented, and they are kept in the safe custody. Server room should be properly locked and the keys are kept only with the authorized person. There are some generated documents which include the access logs, supplementary reports, and audit trails. These you have to do at the end of the operation. So, beginning of the day operations and end of the day operations, these are important. Okay, next, basic controls. So, password control, basic control. So, you have the basic, if we are talking about the basic control, there are four things which you have to do under the management of the bank. The basic control says first you have to segregate the duties of each and every individual. So each and every individual should not engage in every type of activities. This is not beneficial for a working environment, right? So you have to segregate the duties first. As a bank manager or as a bank management, you have to segregate the duty of each and every individuals who are involved. Okay, then 4I principle. 4I principle means everything which is done by one is checked by 4 eyes. Means you have to check. If you have checked something, it is checked by some another person also. Because it is bank, you are doing all the things which are related to money. Okay, there's no chances of errors and fault here. So 4I principle means everything should be rechecked by 2%. Rotations and the ownership. So these are the basic controls, right? Now, if we talk about the passwords control, so obviously these are the different instructions that has been given that how you can create a very strong password in the banking environment. So how you can create a very strong password in the banking environment? First of all, minimum length of the password should be 8 characters. Okay, the more the better. Okay, so if it is more, it is better, right? But minimum should be 8. It should contain both upper and lower cases always. It should be a mix of letters and numbers. The password should include one special character, right? Dictionary word you have to avoid. Prevent using of previous passwords. Okay, enforce periodical changes of the password. Passwords are disabled to the employees when they are on the absence, right? So when you are on the leave, as an employee, you are on a leave, then password for you should be disabled. Right, this is very important point. Okay, for certain critical modules, there are multi-users and multi-factors authentications also, and password should be stored in a system in the encrypted form. Okay, so these are the instruction that has been given that how you should have a strong password and a strong system control in the core banking system. Now, there is a parameter file or the master file, which is also known as the master file in the core banking system. Master file means all the relevant information which are related to a particular account should be fed and stored. All the particular statements. So if there is any information, so any information of a particular account, like what is the rate of interest for this particular account, what is the overdraft limit, what is the operational limit, what is the commission charge, nature of the account, it is single or joint, everything related to a particular account is stored in the form of the parameter or the master file, right? And when you are giving the access of the master file to anyone, it should be in the form of red only. It should be in the form of what? Red only. So if we talk about the master file for the core banking solution, there are different master files for the core banking solution that you have to create. First, you have to create a master data for accounts, which contain the information of each and every customer, the complete information, right? For there is a general purpose parameter file, there is an account type and structure for the general ledger. There are advanced interest rate applicable for various schemes. There are deposit interest rate, list of holidays, authorization right for exceptional transactions, and the type of users and their work class. So these are the parameters or the master files which you have to create when you are working in the core banking solution. These are the master files. Clear? Done? Now, obviously, there are some logical access control of this. There are some instruction that has been given that you have to manage these parameters or these files in a very logical way. Like, for example, the security police first of all address the specific capabilities of operating and ensure that the features are implemented. There should be a chief information security officers which implement all the security feature. You have to grant the access level. You have to, the user's access should be minimum, right? User access should be restricted to the specific application. So if you are assigned to a particular application, your access should be limited to all. Okay, so limited to that particular thing. Also, file maintenance should be separate, access privilege, the password should be encrypted, methods to detect security violations, right? Modern passwords should be changed periodically. So these are all the logical access control in the core banking solutions, right? Now, if we talk about the role and responsibilities of the bank under the core banking solution, so there are different role and responsibilities of the bank. Like, you have to address the cyber threats. Okay, you have to establish a good IT policies. You have to maintain an accurate accounting records. You have to record the IT challenges. Also, you have to conduct system by the chartered accountants. Okay, so these are the roles and responsibilities of a bank in a core banking solution. Clear? To discuss unit 45, this is data communication network and EFT system. This is unit 45. So let's start this system. EFT is electronic fund transfer system and data communication network, right? So first of all, data communication network. So data communication network helps bank drastically cut the cost which involve in transferring data from point of origin to the computer and information from the computer to the point of use. So when the data transfer is concerned, so data transfer is actually in early days is was a very expensive process for the bank, right? So data communication network, it is actually helping bank to cut the cost and time which is involved in transferring of data from the point of origin to the computer and from the computer to the point of origin. Okay, now data communication provides connection to the computer that may be located in geographically dispersed location. You are sitting here, okay, and you want to send any data to USA, right? So for sending these data, earlier it was an expensive thing, but data, because of the data communication network, now you can connect easily, okay, yeah, and you can transfer data very easily and in a very minimum cost, even if your computers are located in a geographically dispersed area, right? Now, this connectivity, this actually allows the seamless transfer of data. This help in the email communication, file sharing, online collaboration, and access to the cloud-based services, right? Now, next, if we talk about the mode of transmission, so when the transmission modes is defined as the direction of the signal flow between two connected devices. So if there are two connected devices, the direction of the signal flow, it is actually known as the transmission mode, and the transmission modes are classified into three parts. The transmission modes are classified into three parts. First is the simplex, then is the half duplex, and then is the full duplex. These are the three transition or transmission modes: simplex, half duplex, and full duplex. Simplex transmission in which you can transmit data in only one direction. When you are transmitting the data only in one direction, then it is known as simplex transmission. The sender cannot receive and the receiver cannot send. Commercial radio broadcast is the best example of the simplex transmission. So in radio, when you are listening the radio, you just only receive the data from the other side. You cannot send it back, right? So there is the transmission of data only in one direction. Okay, then it is known as simplex. Okay, half duplex is what? Half duplex means when the transmission or movement of data is allowed in both the direction, but only one direction at one time. If you have seen the walkie-talkie, right? You are talking in a walkie-talkie. If two devices are connected, two walkie-talkies are connected. First, you have sent the information, which is received by the other party. Now you have to disconnect the connection. Then you have to again connect the connection, and then that party will send you the data. So the transmission is allowed in both the direction. It is not like a regular telephone line. You cannot receive and speak together. You just have to wait. Okay, first you receive the data, and if you want to revert it back, you wanted to establish another connection, then you revert it back. This is known as the half duplex. And full duplex means a full duplex means when the communication is done simultaneously two ways, right? Like the telephonic lines. Telephone lines, you just receive and give information at the same time. This is known as the full duplex. This is known as what? Full duplex. So there is a simplex, there is half duplex, and there is full duplex, right? Now, if we talk about the major network scenarios in India, so there are major network scenarios in India when we are talking about the committee on the communication network. So it committee that was established in 1987, and the committee was established under the chairmanship of T.N. Anantram Iyer. T.N. Anandram Iyer has just what introduced this 1987 committee. Okay, now it is commissioned. Now this committee has commissioned BankNet in 1991, which is a packet switch X.25 based network node in Mumbai, Delhi, Chennai, and Kolkata, and they have switching centers at Nagpur with mesh technology. Bangalore and Hyderabad are also connected to Chennai. Now, BankNet is actually use and collect transmission logic which is provided by the message transfer utility in the system. In the meantime, the second Rangarajan committee recommended the interconnectivity of the branches and interfacing them with the public data network. So BankNet is actually used by the bank, which is X.25 based network, and the main nodes are in Mumbai and Delhi and Kolkata and Chennai, and Chennai is also connected to Bangalore and Hyderabad, and they have the switching center in the Nagpur. And this helped to collect and transmission of the logic which has been provided by the message transfer utility in the system. Clear? No. There is NISTnet also, like BankNet. There is NISTnet also. NISTnet is National Information Center Network. NISTnet is National Information Center Network, which has been established in year 1976, and it has been established by the National Information or Informatic Center. NISTnet is actually a satellite-based nationwide communication network, and this is a wide area network. Wide area network means WAN, right? Now it is the largest wide area network. So if the question is asked which is the widest largest area network, so NISTnet is the widest large area network. Now NISTnet facilitate electronic delivery of services to the government, G2G, and business G2B, and citizen G2C, and government employees G2E. It has institutional linkage with all the ministries and department of the central government, state government, union territories, and about 720 plus district administrations of India. Now, there is a SWIFT also, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Communication. So, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunication, it was founded in 1973 by 239 banks. It was founded in 1973 by 239 bank with headquarters in Brazil, and it is a cooperative non-profit organization which is established under the Belgian No. Now, it is a financial message platform. It actually is a financial messaging platform that bring together approximately more than 11,000 financial institutions and corporations across 215 countries. So, Swift operates on a financial messaging platform, and they bring together approximately more than 11,000 financial institutions and corporations across 250 countries. If we talk about the network and its members, they exchange more than 22 million payments, securities, trade, finance, and treasury messages, and it helps in the highly reliable, secure, and resilient manner transfer. And it is wholly owned by its member bank and financial institution. It is basically a message transmission system. It is what? It is just basically a message transmission system. Now, what is the main feature of Swift? If we talk about the Swift, it works and functions throughout the year 24 hours a day. You can immediately transfer message to any part of the world. All the messages are in encrypted form, so you don't have to worry about the securities. All the messages are acknowledged, means either accepted or rejected, and it is very confidential and protected. And there are different keys of securities in the Swift. Like there are key authentication mechanism, which actually is a automated and improved version of telegraphic test keys, which traditionally use to authentic and what confirm amount in messages uh, between banks. Encryption is a security control to ensure data confidentiality. Right, it is done on the Swift network and it is available to the user. Checksum, it is a security control that prevent automatic changes during transmission. So these are the security features under the Swift: key authentication mechanism, encryption, and checksum. Right, and there are some electronic payment system that has been introduced in India. So these are some of the electronic payment system that has been introduced in India, like the electronic fund transfer. The definition is given and launch date is 1997. Operator is Reserve Bank of India. RTGS 2004. Operator is Reserve Bank of India. NEFT November 2005. Operator is RBI. NECS October 2008. Operator is RBI. Credit and debit cards, November 2009, banks are the operators, right? PPI, prepaid payment instrument, 2009, PPI operators are the regulators. IMPS, immediate payment services, November 2010, NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. NACH, 2011, it is again by NPCI. Check Translation System, 2008, again by NPCI. Aadhaar Enabled Payment System 2016, again by NPCI. UPI 2016, NPCI. National Electronic Toll Collection 2016, NPCI. Bharat Bill Payment System 2017, NPCI. So these are the electronic payment systems in India. We are going to discuss Unit 46 of PPB Module C. We have to discuss digital payment systems that are regulated or that are under or that are operated by NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. So we are going to discuss about digital payment system, National Payment Corporation of India in today's chapter. Very important chapter, yet it is a very easy chapter because see, in this chapter we are going to discuss all that thing which you have already know, which already you are practicing on your daily life, like what are QR code, what is UPI, what is the debit card systems and credit card systems. So these are all the things that you already know. Just I have to give you a little bit explanation of this complete chapter, that is digital payment system. So let's start discussing about this topic. The very first thing is National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI. First, we are going to discuss about NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. First of all, it is a pioneer organization and it is for the retail payment systems in India. So, it is a pioneer organization which has been set up for the retail payment systems in India. It was established in 2008. NPCI, it is a non-profit organization which is established by Reserve Bank of India and Indian Banking Association. So, IBA, Indian Banking Association, and Reserve Bank of India, they both together established is National Payment Corporation of India, which is a non-profit organization which has been established in December 2008. Currently, if we talk about NPCI presently have 10 core promoter banks. So presently there are 10 members in a National Payment Corporation of India. So what are then 10 core promoter banks? So there is State Bank of India, there is Punjab National Bank, there is Canara Bank, there is Bank of Baroda, there is Union Bank of India, there is Bank of India, there is ICICI Bank, there is HDFC Bank, there is City Bank, and there is HSBC Bank. So these are current 10 promoters of the what National Payment Corporation of India, right? If we talk about the vision, NPCI has been established with the vision of what? It has been established with the vision to provide citizens on our country anytime, anywhere payment services. So it has been established for the anytime, where payment facility, right? Which are very simple to use, easy to use, safe, secure, fast, and also cost effective. National Payment Corporation of India's aim is to operate for the benefit of all the member bank as well as the common man in a large. So whatever promoter banks are there in the National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI aims to promote the National Payment Corporation of India, helps in the promotion of all the members bank, plus at large it helps in the promotion of the common bank or common man also, right? This is NPCI. Now let's talk about some of the payment system that has been managed by NPCI. So this is very important. So these are some of the important payment system or projects that has been managed by National Payment Corporation of India. Now what are these payment system? First of all, National Financial Switch, NFS, NACH, National Automated Clearing House, RuPay card, immediate payment service, IMPS, Aadhaar enabled payment system, AEPS. There is Bharat interface for money, there is unified payment interface, there is Bharat bill payment services, there is Bharat QR, there is National Common Mobility Card, NCMC, there is National Electronic Toll Collection, NETC. So these are all the payment corporations, or these are all the product that has been managed by NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. Clear? Now, next, if we talk about the National Financial Suite, now let's talk about one by one the most important things related, or most important products which are related or which are managed or which are regulated by National Payment Corporation of India. So the very first thing, it is the largest network of the shared ATM in India. So, if we talk about the largest network of the shared ATM in India, so the largest network for the shared ATM in India is actually the National Financial Suite. It has been developed by IDRBT. So IDRBT is ID Institute for Development and Regulation in Banking Technology. So it has been developed and deployed by Institute for Development and Regulation in Banking Technology in 2004, and the main aim is for interconnecting ATMs in the country and facilitating the convenience banking. National Financial Switch, if we talk about, it has been taken over by National Payment Corporation of India on December 14, 2009. Okay. Now, NFS, this also offers value-added services, okay, on ATMs and CDMs to cardholder of participating member bank, like interoperable cash deposit. So it helps a National Financial Switch. These provide some value added services on the ATMs, right? And these provide the value added services to the participating member banks. Like, what are the value added services? First of all, they help in the interoperable cash deposit. They help in the mobile banking registration. They help in the card to card fund transfer. They help in check books request. They help in the statement request. They help in the Aadhaar number seeding. So these are all the value added services which has been given by National Financial Switch on ATMs. Okay. Next, if we talk about the National Automated Clearing House, NACH. Okay, this is a financial product which has been operated by National Payment Corporation of India, NPCI, Okay, so National Automated Clearing Houses was implemented by NPCI for banks. It was implemented for whom? It was implemented for banks, for financial institutions, for corporates, for governments as a web solution to facilitate interbank high volume electronic transaction that are repetitive and periodic in nature. That are what? Very repetitive and periodic in nature, right? So National Automated Clearing House that has been implemented by NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India, for different banks and financial institutions and corporates and governments as a web-based solution to facilitate interbank high-volume electronic transactions that are very repetitive and periodic in nature. When we are talking about NACH, National Automated Clearing House System. It is used for making bulk transactions towards the distribution of different things. Like if you want to distribute subsidies, if you want to distribute dividend and interest and salary, pensions, etc. And also for bulk transaction towards the collection and payment of the telephones and electricity, water, loans, investments, mutual fund, insurance premium, etc. So all for all these transactions, there is a national automated clearing house. Clear? Now, if we talk about NACH Aadhaar Payment Bridge System, it has been developed by NPCI. Okay, so NHCH, it is the Aadhaar payment bridge system which has been developed by National Payment Corporation of India, has been helping the government and government agencies in making the direct benefit transfer scheme a success. So that is National Automatic Clearing House. Now, next is IMPS, Immediate Payment Services. Okay, so IMPS, Instant Payment Interbank Robust Electronic Funds Transfer System in India. So if you want to have a immediate instant payment system, if you want to have a electronic fund system in India, the immediate fund system in India, that is for IMPS, immediate payment system. IMPS offers an interbank electronic fund transfer that could be accessed on a multiple channels, and this can be accessed on the mobile and internet and ATMs and SMS, right? So IMPS offers an interbank electronic fund transfer services that can be accessed on a multiple service channel, right? Now, if we talk about the service that is available for IMPS, that is available for 24/7, okay, and it includes the bank holidays also. It means even on bank holiday, you can use this IMPS system. It has been managed by whom? It has been managed by NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. The eligible banks who can participate in this immediate payment services is that entity who should have a valid banking or prepaid instrument license. So if you are a bank and you want to participate in this IMPS network, you should have a valid banking license or a prepaid payment instrument license from Reserve Bank of India to participate in the immediate payment services, right? Now, if we talk about the IMPS immediate payment services, it provides a robust and real-time fund transfer. It provides a robust and a real-time fund transfer that offers an instant 24/7 interbank electronic fund services that can be accessed on a multiple channels like mobile and internet and ATM and SPS and branch and USD, right? So IMPS is what? IMPS provide you a 24/7 interbank electronic fund transfer that can be accessed on a multiple channels, and this can be done by using the mobile internet or ATM or SMS or branch, or even by calling on this USDD number, that is *99#. Okay, it allows you to transfer the fund instantly within the bank. So if you want to transfer the fund instantly, then instant transfer is given by IMPS, immediate payment services. It is a channel independent. It is channel independent and can be initiated from any branch and mobile or internet or ATM or channels, right? On successful transaction, sender as well as the receiver both will receive a confirmation through the SMS. So this is the immediate payment services, right? Now, next is the UPI, Unified Payment Interface. Very easy. UPI, we are all using UPI on a daily basis, right? UPI has been used by us on a daily basis. There is no new thing in the unified payment interface, right? It is a system that actually connects multiple bank account into a single mobile application, right? So if you want to connect the multiple bank account into a simple mobile application. Okay, so converting your different multiple bank accounts into a single mobile application that actually merge for several banking functions. These actually have been merged for several banking features, like there is a seamless fund routing, there is a merchant payments into one host. So for this, there is a unified payment interface. Also cater to the peer-to-peer connect request, which can be scheduled as per the requirement and convenience. UPI enables immediate money transfer through mobile devices around the clock, which is 24/7 and 365 days. The main stakeholders and participant of the UPI system. Who are the main participant? Who are the main stakeholders in the UPI? So these are the bank account holders and merchants and payment service providers and banks and NPCIs. So these are all the main stakeholders and participants in the UPI. Okay. Now, UPI supports various type of financial and non-financial services. Financial services like you can pay or collect the request of the payment, or non-financial transaction like you can do the mobile banking registration, you can create a one-time password, you can set and change the pin, you can check the transaction status, you can raise the dispute, you can raise the inquiries, anything. So these are all the things that are done by the unified payment interface. If we talk about the UPI PIN means UPI personal identification number is actually a 4 to 6 digit passcode that are created during the first time registration within the app. UPI PIN is mandatory to authorize all the bank transactions. So this is the UPI unified payment interface. Second is the Bharat Interface for Money, BHIM. BHIM is again an app. Bharat Interface for Money is an application that enables the user to make simple, easy, and quick payment transaction using your UPI. So if you are having a UPI, you can register yourself in an app which is the Bharat Interface for Money app that enables to make simple, easy, and quick payment transactions, right? Now, what are the features of the BHIM? If we talk about the features, you can send money, you can request for money, you can scan and pay, you can check your transaction history. Okay, so you can see the user's bank account that are linked with this BHIM app. It is supported by 20 regional languages. You can block the users as well. You can have a privacy. You can have a payment reminders. You can split the bill in this BHIM app, and you can use UPI auto pay also if it is in this bank. And if we talk about the transaction limit, a user can send up the transaction up to rupees 1 lakh per transaction. So you can per transaction send or receive the payment of rupees 1 lakh with a maximum of rupees 1 lakh per day from one bank account. This limit is available as per the bank account which are linked on the BHIM app, right? Next. Next, there is a Bharat Bill Payment System. BBPS, Bharat Bill Payment System. Okay. Now, what is a Bharat Bill Payment System? It is a Reserve Bank of India conceptualized system which is driven by NPCI. So, it has been conceptualized by whom? It has been conceptualized by Reserve Bank of India, but it is the concept which is driven by whom? It is the concept which has been driven by National Payment Corporation of India. It is a one-stop ecosystem for what? It is the ecosystem for interoperable and accessible anytime, anywhere bill payment service facility to all the customers. Bharat Bill Pay, these have a multiple mode of payments and provide instant confirmation of payment via SMS or receipts. Like if we talk about the Bharat Bill payment transactions, this can be done through various payment channels in different mode. The key participant, who are the key participant in BBS? Those three participants are Bharat Bill Payment Central Unit, Bharat Bill Payment Operating Unit, agent institutions, agents, billers, and utility companies. So these are all the key participant in Bharat Bill Payment System. Clear? Done. So Bharat Bills Payment System, conceptualized by Reserve Bank of India, but driven by NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. It is a one-stop ecosystem for the payments of all bill, and it can be accessed anywhere at any time. And it is done for using the instant confirmation. Okay. Now, last is the QR code. QR code, you all know. It consists of the black square arranged in a square grid on a white background, which can be read by an imaging device such as camera. Okay, it contains the information about the item which is attached to it. Bharat QR is a person to merchant mobile payment system which is manually driven among NPCI, Visa, MasterCard payment system. User can pay the utility bill by using this Bharat QR code. It is a quick payment method of payment, right? Bharat QR works as an alternate channel of payment where the card holder has to download his or her bank's QR enabled mobile banking app. The user has to scan this code at the merchant store and select a card to make the payment. Once the payment is successful, both the card holder and merchant receive the notification from the mobile application for the successful transaction. So this is what? This is the Bharat QR. We are going to discuss about the impact of technology adoption and trends in the banking technology. Okay, so what are the different type of trends that has been introduced in the banking technology, plus what is the impact of technology adoption in the banking environment? Okay, so this is PPB Module C Unit 47. So we are going to discuss about this chapter today. So everyone who is in the session, just please comment once about the audio and video of the class. Is everything is working good, working fine for all of you? Hi guys, hello everyone. So audio, video, everything is clear? Audio, video, everything is working fine? Everything is clear? Good. Okay. So let's start discussing this chapter, impact of technology, adoption and trends in the banking technology. So first of all, if we talk about the data and message transferring, right? So there is a electronic data interchange. So electronic data interchange is actually inter-organizational exchange of business documentation which is processed by the computer. So if sorry so if by using the computers you have to exchange any type of business documentation, so for exchanging the business documentation, inter-organizational exchange of the business documentation which can be processed by the computer, it is known as the electronic data interchange, right? It takes the form of interchange of a standard formatted data between the computer's application system of the trading partner with minimum manual intervention. So it in this particular electronic data interchange EDI system, there is inter-organizational exchange of business documentation but without the use of manual power, right? So it is with actually the very minimum use of manual intervention. With the very minimum manual intervention, when the computers are exchanging the formatted data, standard formatted data, okay, and which is inter-organizational, then it is known as EDI system. Bank has using this electronic data interchange in the form of Swift messages. So Swift we have already discussed. It is the messaging app, you can say, which is used by the bank for transferring of the financial messages from one bank to another, okay, over the globe network. So in EDI, if we talk about the electronic data interchange, bank have been using this EDI in the form of Swift messages, right? Now next, if we talk about the electronic data interchange for the administration of commerce and transport, EDFAC. So first of all, the full form is very important, okay? The full form of EDFAC is electronic data interchange for the administration of commerce and transport. This is the universal set of standards and guidelines that has been communicated by EDI. So this actually covers what? This actually covers the documents which can be communicated electronically. Means what are the type of documents that can be communicated electronically, right? Plus the information that should be included in each electronic document. So what are the different type of information that can be included in each electronic document? The sequence in which the information should follow, and for the meaning of individual piece of information. So these are the different different guidelines and covers the standard guidelines and cover for the electronic data interchange. Okay, so EDIFACT is what? First of all, the full form is Electronic Data Interchange for Administration of Commerce and Transport. It is actually a universal set of standards and guidelines that are used for communication by EDI, Electronic Data Interchange, right? So EDI covers what? EDI covers documents that can be communicated electronically. EDI covers the information that should be included in each electronic documents, sequence in which the information should follow, and the meaning of each and every individual piece of information. Clear? Now, next, the role and use of the technology. In this, we are using the emails, electronic mails also. You all know what is email, right? You all know what is email. Email actually provide instant communication between the users. So if you want to have an instant communication between the users, the instant communication between the users are done by electronic mail, or you can say email, regardless of the system that they are using at their location. For any type of information, email has made the concept of paperless office a reality, and many offices are now using it extensively for inter-office and intra-office correspondence. So emails, you all know that for transferring of any documentation, for communication, formally emails are used for inter-organizational as well as for intra-office response, right? So there are corporate websites also. These websites are actually new avenues for bank to market their own products. So if there is a website for the bank which have to market their own product and services, these are the corporate websites. Many banks have their own websites on the internet as a platform for the service delivery. Bank uses this website for what? Dissemination of information. What is dissemination? It is actually the wide spread of the information, right? So for dissemination of the information, financial advice, a note for commerce, selling financial product and account services. So for all these purpose, the corporate websites has been used, right? Management information system, MIS. Management information system refers to the use of information system and technology to support and enhance the management and organizational decision making. So management information system is what? Management information is actually the use of information system and technology, and for what? For the purpose of supporting and enhancing the management and organizational decision making, then it is known as MIS system, right? Now, if we talk about the MIS system, Management Information System, it actually involves the collection, processing, storage, and dissemination of the information, which is very crucial for the effective management. So, there are two types of information that is available. First, there is a computer-based information. See, computerized system has the advantage of very fast and accurate processing of the data, and here the data can be controlled and processed easily. Now, under the computerized based information system, the data is consistent. Okay, hence the processed information is very accurate and relevant for the decision making. We always prefer the data which is in the computer rather than the manual data because of the accuracy and the relevancy of this data. So this actually is very helpful. The data is very accurate and relevant for the decision making, right? Now next, if we talk about the data redundancy, so in data redundancy, it is minimized, reducing a lot of labor in data reporting. The computer based information system are very flexible and can be suitably modified with ease to match the changing requirement. Clear? Now, decision support system. If we talk about the decision support system, DSS, these are easy to use, flexible and interactive computer based system that are designed to decision making, to help in the decision making or to facilitate the decision making. These system actually allows the creation of simultaneous or simultations which are under various circumstances and conditions, which helps in analyzing the situation under different conditions. So this is the decision support system, and this is the computer based information system. Okay, now what are the global trends in the banking system? So, if we are talking about the global trends in the banking system, okay, so bank are now installing more and more ATMs for the banking transactions. You all know that. See, for avoiding the unnecessary queues and lines and hassles and unnecessary crowd in the banking or in the bank, in the premises of the bank are now using more and more ATMs for the banking transaction. So more and more ATMs are used for the banking transaction. Customers are provided more choices to collect their cash, okay, like non branches such as supermarkets and video kiosks. So the customers, they are actually provided with more choices. And why they are provided with more choices? To collect their cash, like non branches such as supermarkets and video kiosks, right? There are mobile bankings, okay, there are debit cards, there are credit cards, there are smart cards. These are all used in the banking system. Internet bankings are nowadays used very much, right? Banks are tapping new source of revenues and finding ways to differentiate themselves from the other banks because of the increasing competition, right? So because there is a lot of competition between the banks, public and private sectors bank, so banks are now searching new ways for finding revenues as well as new ways to differentiate themselves from the other banks, so that their customer service and their customer area can be enhanced, right? Now banks are involved in different type of services, like banks are involved in the marketing of insurance and annuity sales. Banks are involved in the financial planning system. Banks are involved in the mutual fund system. Banks are involved in a trusteeship business. So these are the different type of business in which nowadays banks are involved with themselves, so as to better earn the revenue, okay, from the different sources. Okay, next. Now, when we have adapted the technology in the banking environment, what are the impacts of the technology adoption in the banking environment? Okay. So there are obviously some positive as well as some negative impact of the adoption of what information or IT in the banking environment. So obviously there are some positive and negative changes. Let's talk about some changes. First of all, changes in the organizational structure and orientation. So if we talk about the information technology, when IT has been introduced in the banking environment, it actually helps in establishing a direct liaison, means direct relationship or direct communication between the top management and the field workers or field functionaries. So whoever are working in the field, they are connected directly with the top management, right? And how they are connected with the top management? They are connected with the top management for what? Like for example, they are how they are connected with the top management? So they are actually connected with the top management because of the use of IT in the banking environment, right? Now the organizational changes, this can facilitate the increased involvement of information system mainstream product offerings in the banking and financial sector. In addition of these technical and organizational changes, a psychological repositioning of the information technology take place. Improved productivity and efficiency, it helps in increase or enhance productivity or efficiency. Now, on the service quality, what is the effect of IT in the service quality? You know that there is a very positive effect of the IT in the service technology or service quality. Why? Because technology is actually helping bank, irrespective of their size, to have a level playing field for the pricing of their product. So it actually help to place their pricing of the product at a very competitive price, so that the customer can have the product at a very good and the competitive price. And this technology is forcing the bank to develop new strategies for online delivery system, so as to broaden their area of customer relationship and to retain the loyal customer with themselves, right? But again, there is one of the negative impacts of the IT in the service is the depersonalization. So when you are giving everything online and when you are giving ATMs and internet bankings and everything, the interaction between the customer and the management, is actually very less, which actually is like the depersonalization. When you are going regularly to the bank, it is like a personal touch that has been given by the bank to to their own customer. But when we are depending more and more on ITs, then obviously there is some sort of depersonalization, okay, which can have a negative impact on the relationship banking. Okay. Now, there has been a program which has been introduced that is known as EASE, which is especially introduced for enhancing the customer experience in the banking environment. So, EASE program means Enhanced Access and Service Excellence Program. These has many phases. We have discussed this EASE program in very detail, and it is actually for the public sector banks. Ease has been introduced for what? It has been introduced for the public sector banks. And why this has been introduced? To improve the profitability, to improve the asset quality, to improve the service quality, to improve the digital capabilities. If we talk about the Ease 5.0 version, it has been launched in 2022, and public sector banks will have a new strategies for the evolving customer need, help in the competition, and the technological improvement. And this 5.0 version actually prioritizes digital customer experience. Clear? Now, when there is the introduction of IT in the banking environment, that also changes the customer aspirations also. How it changes the customer aspiration? Because customers are demanding fast and accurate and reliable services, right? The observation of the technology becomes inevitable for the bank to enable them to respond to the customer needs at all time and at a very competitive price. Clear? Now, the last thing are there are different type of emerging technologies in the banking environment. Different type of emerging technologies in the banking environment. So, if we talk about the different type of emerging technologies in the banking environment, first there is a virtual reality and augmented reality. Virtual reality, when everything means the normal environment or the real surroundings has been blocked out, and you have been experiencing what is shown in your computer. Okay, so you are actually seeing what is shown in your computer. Okay, so you actually blocked out your real surroundings. Okay, and this is blocked out by using the VR sets, and there are different things which are used. Okay, so virtual reality and augmented reality. In virtual reality, the outside environment is actually blocked, and you are completely immersed into the digital environment. Whereas in the augmented reality, it does not replace the real world. Actually, just add on the digital elements to it. For example, you are looking into the screen, you are having that 3D glasses, you are experiencing everything in that 3D, right? But you are not blocked out from the external environment. That is known as augmented reality. But you are completely immersed in the digital environment. Your ears are blocked, your eyes are blocked, and you are just experience what is shown in the screen. Then it is known as virtual reality. Clear? So these are some of the emerging technologies trend in the banking, and we are going to discuss Unit 48 of PPB Module C, that is Securities Consideration and Mitigation Measures in Bank, right? So this is the topic, Unit 48. So we are about to complete the syllabus, approximately 5 to 6 chapters more, and then we are finishing with the syllabus, right? So security consideration and mitigation measures in the bank. First of all, risk concerning areas. So, what are the risk concerning areas? If we talk about the risk concerning areas, a typical computerized environment, they have three independent but separate components, like there are software, data, and hardware. So, these are the three what? These are the three interdependent and separate component in the computerized environment. These are separate as well as these are interdependent, right? So this can be a software, data, and a hardware, right? If we talk about the computer operators, programmers, customer, and even the public continuously uses all the three components. So these three components, the software, data, and hardware, these are used by everyone. every public, customer, programmer, operator, everyone has the use of this software data and hardware, and so there are chances of frauds and omissions and errors and risk and vulnerable, because these are very sensitive areas. Okay, so these risks are not specific to banking. If we are using the computerization system in the banking environment, the risk is not only limited to the banking environment, it is actually limited to spread to each and every business activities. Every business activities who are using this software, data, hardware, every business activity are exposed to these type of risks. Like there are risk of errors and omissions and fraud while using this software data and hardware. Right now, the risk leads to what? So if there is a risky environment, if there is a risk, then this risk leads to what? So first of all, this risk leads to the incorrect decision making, which lead to a setback to the business, right? So incorrect decision making are there. So if there are risk of omissions or errors, or there are any frauds which are specifically in the business environment, you can take incorrect decision. There are incorrect decision making which can be taken from this particular uh, product, right? There are interruption in activities. Yes, obviously there are a lot of interruption in the activities due to the loss of data, hardware, software, peopleware, right? So there are interruptions in the activities also. There are violation in the privacy also. Plus there can be a direct financial loss due to the computer fraud. So there is a direct financial loss due to the computer fraud. There can be a violation of privacy. There can be interruption in different activities, right? There can be an incorrect decision making. So these are the risk concerning areas. In what? These are the risk concerning areas in the banking environment, right? Or in any environment where this software, data, and hardware are used. Clear? Now, if we talk about data and software, so data is actually very critical source of or a source for any of the organization. So if you are in the banking industry, you are in any of the business activity, data is actually what is all about, right? Data is the most important resource for you all, right? So data is actually very critical for an organization's continuing operation. A lack of control over data, it can lead to different type of activities or different type of frauds, right? Or inadequate control over data is one of the largest factor which actually promote the fraud. So you have to protect your data very importantly. There should be a securities layers upon that data so that the data is protected, because it is the most critical, most necessary source of organization approach operation, right? So if you have data, you are operating. If you are lost all the data, or your data has been leaked, then obviously there is a lot of problems coming up, right? So these data and software, this is a very critical resource which is necessary for an organization's continuing operation, right? Next, if we talk about the infrastructure, equipments are required to be in the proper condition for efficient utilization of IT for banking operation. So equipments, whatever equipments are there, okay, whatever you are using in any business environment or banking environment, it is what? It is for the efficient utilization of IT, information technology, which is used for banking operation, right? Now, if these equipments, these are not maintained regularly, if these are not maintained regularly, then they are prone to malfunctioning, interruption in services, loss of assets and data, anything, right? So these are the infrastructure. So infrastructure, what? Infrastructure equipments are required to be in the proper condition, and it is very helpful for the efficient utilization of information technology for banking operation. So if these equipments are not maintained in a proper and regular manner, these are prone to malfunctioning, which may lead to interruption in services or loss of data, right? Third is the peopleware. Peopleware, it is refers to the role which is played by a group of person, and this can be directly or indirectly involved in managing and running the computerized system. So for example, I'm sitting in a desk, I'm using the computer, I'm using the data, whatever is there in that computer. So that is known as the peopleware. Peopleware are actually the group of persons which directly or indirectly involve in managing and running the computerized system. That is known as the peopleware. Now, the risk that are associated with the peopleware, yes, first of all, whoever is sitting in that desk, first of all, there can be a stagnation in knowledge. If you are not permanently upgrading your knowledge, if you are not enhancing your knowledge, if you are permanently not upgrading your knowledge, then obviously there is an stagnation means there is stillness in the knowledge and a skill level, okay, which actually reduce your productivity and efficiency in the organization. Second, higher turnover due to attrition. It means that when there are people who are leaving your organization to another organization for better opportunities or better salary or better working environment, then obviously when the people are leaving, they are going with a lot of backups from your organization. They can use these data for the competitor organization, right, or whoever they are joining. So obviously these are the two main concerns which are regarding to the peopleware. So infrastructure, data, software, and peopleware, these are all the risk concerning areas, okay. And especially these risk concerning areas are not limited only in the banking sector. These are actually spread to each and every business activities. When the people are there, then obviously the risk of leaving the organization is very high. There is stagnation of knowledge is very high. The equipment should be maintained properly so that to avoid the loss of data or any asset, data and software. Okay, so these are risk concerning area for each and every, you can say, organization who are using this, right? Next, if we talk about the different type of threats, what are the different type of threat? First of all, vulnerable to the human failure, right? So accidental damages are there which are due to the human failure, okay. It can be any type of machine failure, it can be any type of process development, system designs, anything, natural disaster, as well as the environment disasters, like there is an unstabilized power supply due to which you lose data, there is some fire outbreak due to which the system has been finished, right? So accidental damage, it is due to the human failure, either due to the human failure or due to the natural disaster or due to the environmental hazards, right? Now there are different type of damage which is known as malicious damage. Malicious damage, these are caused by disgruntled employee means those who are not satisfied with the working environment. So if there is an employee who is not satisfied with the working environment, especially in their working environments, they can take a different type of steps which can harm the environment, yes or no? Obviously, see, when I am working in any environment and I am not satisfied with the working environment, okay. For example, my manager is just looking out at me every time. He's just poking me in each and every situation. Then obviously, if I am not satisfied, I am not happily working in that environment. It may lead to reduce in efficiency and productivity of my work. Yes, obviously. See, your mental health is directly related to your productivity. See, whenever you are happy, okay, see, when you are happy and you are internally satisfied, you are doing things with a lot of concentration, lot of happiness, and this leads to productivity and efficiency. Even for you all bankers, okay, when you are sitting, some days you bankers are not in a very good mood, right? This happens to all humans, right? Someday you are not in a very happy mood, you are just sitting in the counter and you are just um uh, you are just irritated on each and every small thing. Why? Because you are not internally happy. Maybe there is something wrong which happens in the home, or something damage, or something you are not happy with the environment. So this all affect your productivity, efficiency, and how you deal with the customer, right? So these can be the malicious damage. If the employee is not happy, okay, they can just cause damage to your customer also. Okay, customer has a bad experience with that employee. Okay, so these are the type of malicious damages that can be happen in a working environment. Plus obviously frauds can happen. Fraud transaction means unauthorized changes. For example, there is a file, there is an unauthorized changes, there can be a file manipulation, right? There can be intercepting data. So these are the different type of frauds that can be happen in a working environment. So frauds can happen, malicious damage can happen, accidental damages can happen, which are the different type of threats which we see in the different environment. Different environment, you can say, in the banking environment as well as in the normal environment. So these are all the different type of threats we are seeing in the environment, right? Done. Okay, next. Now, next thing. If we talk about the control mechanism, so obviously we need to control each and everything. Okay, implementation of an effective control mechanism, it is actually required for the successful management of risk, which are associated with the use of information technology tools. Okay, so if you are successfully, if you are what? If you are successfully managing, okay, you have a effective control mechanism, right? You are successfully managing, then obviously with the use of this IT tool, okay, you are just doing what? You are just maintaining, or you are just managing the management successfully, right? So there are physical controls, there are logical controls also. If we talk about the physical controls, first of all, critical access control to the computer rooms and components. So everyone should not have the access of the computer rooms and components. There should be a very critical and important, and those who are authorized for that working is only allowed to have the access of that computer rooms and components, first of all. So there is a critical access control to the computer rooms and components. Second, protection against unauthorized access. So obviously you need to have a protection against any type of unauthorized access. Okay, and attempts. You should have an attempt by for using the passwords and pins and biometric authentications, right? So unauthorized access obviously should be protected, and this can be protected by using the passwords, by using the pins, by using the biometric verification, so that no one can have a easy access over. Third, control over hard copies of reports and regular checks for fire protection. Obviously, there are hard copies also. So everything is stored digitally, but sometimes there are things which are stored in the hard copies also, right? So whatever the hard copies you have, first of all, you should have a control over that hard copies, plus you regular check for the fire protection against that hard copies, right? Now, logical control, these are the physical, these can be physically controlled. Okay, so these are the steps which you are taking physically to control over these, right? Now there are some logical controls also. Now what are the logical control? So first of all, there are two types of logical access control, namely authentication and authorization. So two type of logical access control: authentication and authorization. Authentication allows only authorized users to access the system. I am authorized to use this system. I should have to enter my biometric authentication to use this system. This is known as authentication. Whereas authorization just allows minimum access, means you are authorized to have the access of these files directly. Authorization limit the access, whereas authentications allows only those who are authorized to access the system. And these both are managed to what? In an operating environment, to have a better and good administration system. So these are the physicals and logical control, and these are the control mechanism, right? Now there can be an internal controls also. Internal controls can be of two types. First of all, the accounting control and administrative control. If we talk about the accounting control, yes, dual controls and authorizations are there, validation checks on data are there, and numerical sequencings are there. So accounting control, if we talk about the accounting control, yes, dual controls and authorization. There can be a validation checks on data, there can be numerical sequencings, etc. So these are all the accounting control. Whereas administrative control means all defined line of responsibilities and formal policies and procedure. So whatever the formal policies and procedures are there, you should have a well defined lines of formal policies and procedures, right? Now, operational control. If we talk about the operational control, embedded in software for data integrity, consistency, and processing. Okay, so operation control, these are in what? These are embedded in the software, and these are for, first of all, data integrity, these are for consistency, and these are for processing. Now examples for this are includes checksum. Example for this includes data is encryption, audit trails, data masking for all the sensitive information. So control mechanism, this includes physical, logical, internal, as well as the operational control. Now, if we talk about the computer audit, yes, so what is computer audit? So generic organizational functions aim at safeguarding the assets, data integrity, system effectiveness, and efficiency. And this is known as computer audit. Means you are regularly checking the computer for the safeguarding of the data, for the system effectiveness and efficiency. This is system, this generic organizational function. This system checking is actually called as what? This system checking is all called as the computer audit. Clear? This is called as what? Computer audit. Now, if we talk about the scope of the computer audit, so computer audit covers these scopes. First of all, they review the operations. Review the operation means they should see that whatever the established policies and standards and procedures are there, these all are followed in the computer or not. So first of all, you have to review the operation. Okay, review the operation, it means to establish that if there is all the compliance to the established policies, standards, and procedures. Second, you have to review the qualities also. Review the quality means you have to acknowledge the formal policies, standards, and procedures, and efficiency, everything. Third, integrity review on fraud and prevention. So these are the scope of the computer audit. Now, likewise, the computer audit, there is information system audit also, IS audit. Now, information system audit is what? It is a process of collecting and evaluating evidence to determine whether a computer system could safeguard its assets or not. So what are the assets of the computer system? Like hardware and softwares and data. So IS audit is actually the process of collecting and evaluating the evidence that determine the efficiency of the computer system, that whether they are able to safeguard its assets by adopting the adequate securities and control measures or not. So this is known as the IS audit, means the information system audit. Right now, the information system audit is carried out through the IT systems with the help of computer aided audit tools and techniques. Tags. Okay, so IS audit is carried out through the IT system, and it is with the help of computer aided audit tools and techniques. Right now, control is a system that prevents, detects, and corrects the undesirable events. Control is what? Control is defined as a system that prevents, protects, and control the undesirable event. Now, undesirable event is an incident that arises if there is an authorized, unauthorized, inaccurate, incomplete, ineffective, or inefficient inputs that enter into a system. Right? So this is the information system audit. Clear? Now, if we talk about modus operandi of online fraud, yes, what are the method of operation for these frauds? Okay, how these method of operations of these frauds are there? So the modus operandi, how this method of online frauds are there. So first of all, they just look out for the area where they can the compromise can be happen. The loophole, the weak points. Okay, then they obtain the credential. First of all, they find that okay, this is the area which is vulnerable, which is risky, which where can there can be any fraud that can happen, right? They just identify that area. Second, they obtain the credentials for that. Then they send you the fraudulent message, and then they hide and cover up the incident. So these are all the steps which are involved in the modus operandi model, right? Now, if we talk about the modus operandi of cyber attack, now there are different type in which the cyber attacks can happen. Now they can ATM card skimming can done, phishing, wishing, smishing, payment frauds can done, lottery fraud, fake prices. Okay, there can be any fraud due to the unknown or unverified mobile apps, account takeover frauds, online market frauds, card frauds, sim swapping. So these are the different types of fraud which the method which the cyber attackers are using for just stealing your data or your money from you. Okay, so these are the modus operandi, right? Now, if we talk about the disaster, okay, so what is disaster? Disaster means any event that result in the direct denial or stoppage of any essential functions for a considerate period of time. So if there is any event happen due to which there is a stoppage of the regular business operation for some particular period of time, then this is defined as what? This is defined as the disaster. For example, there is the uh, electricity failure, and due to which there is 2 hours interruption in the business activities, right? Then this is known as what? Disaster. Now, there are some steps in the disaster recovery planning. Like you should be aware of how the disasters is working. You should be prepared for that. You should be testing, and then if anything happens, how you recover from that. Okay, these are the steps which are taken, or these are the planning which are taken for or which are done for the disaster recovery. So there you should be aware, you should be prepared, you should be testing, and there should be a proper recovery. Clear? Done. Now next, last thing is the digital signature. Now digital signature is actually not the replica of your manual signature. It is just an additional safety which is added electronically in the account. So it is like a critical features. To satisfy some critical features, there is an electronic signature which is added to any type of documents. Okay, this is known as the digital signature. You have to understand that digital signature is not the replica, okay, of your physical signature. It is not the replica, it is just the additional thing which is added, digitally signed and included in the area, right? Now last thing is G Gopal Krishna Committee report. So Gopal Krishna Committee report, it was commissioned by Reserve Bank of India, right? And this Gopal Krishna Committee report has 9 chapters in it. So these are the 9 chapters. Chapter 1 is IT governance, 2 is information security, operations, outsourcing, audit, cyber fraud, business continuity planning, customer education, and the legal issues. These are the G. Gopal Krishna Committee. We are going to discuss PPB Module C, that is operational aspects of cybercrime, fraud, risk management in cyber tech. This is Unit 49. This is PPB Module C. So let's start discussing this topic. The very first thing is the fraud versus crime, right? So fraud, it is a type of crime committed for the purpose of gaining financial gains, right? So, for the purpose of gaining financial gains, when there is any crime that is committed, it is known as fraud. Fraud is actually defined as international use of deceptions or to acquire fair advantages over other individual, and this is most typically in the form of money. Now, what is cybercrime? Cybercrime is defined as a criminal activity that involve use of computers or networks, right? So when you are using computers for executing any type of fraud, then it is known as cybercrime. And fraud can be conducted against individual as it can be conducted against corporation also. So this is the fraud. Fraud is to take the unnecessary gaining financial gains, or you to take unnecessary advantages of the financial gains. And if we talk about the cyber crimes is actually the use of computers and networks, right? So next, if we talk about the risk for the banks from cyber attack, so yes, there are the different type of risk that can be arise from the cyber attacks, right? What is cyber risk? Co- Continuously, if we talk about the present situation, yes, cyber risk continues to be a top concern for the banks and regulators, right? So these are the top concern for the banks and regulators. And if we talk about the risk in the cyber attacks, there are type of risk, different type of risk, like you can have a financial loss, you can have a data critical or critical data loss, you can have a loss of productivity, you have to incur the cost of investigation, you have to give compensation to the customer, your reputational damage can happen, your regulatory penalties can be imposed on you, you should can have a cost of recovering from the disruption, there can be investment loss and anything. So these are the different type of losses that can be arise from the cyber attack. Clear? Now next, if we talk about who are the threat actors. Okay, so threat actor is an individual or group of people that take participation in malicious act. So if you are an individual or a group of person that are taking participation to cause any damage to the counterparty, and you are intending to cause harm, financial loss to the counterparty by using any of the IT asset, including computers and devices and systems and networks, then you are all classified as the threat actors, right? Now, under the threat actor, if we talk about, there are cyber criminals. Cyber criminals means those individual or group of individual who can have a malicious cyber attacks on the business. There can be criminals who can gain financial gains or informations, right? There can be business competitors. Your competitors can be a threat actor for you, your current or former employees. So these all can act as a threat actor. So threat actor is an individual or group of a person that take participation in any of the malicious acts for what, for causing harm to you, and they just use your IT assets and computer and devices and network to impose threat on you. That is known as cyber actors. Now cyber actors can include cyber criminals, this can include criminals, that can include business competitors, this can include current or former employees, right? Now, if we talk about the various type of cyber threats, there are different type of cyber threats also, like there are identity theft, data breach, hacking, malware, virus, ransomware, phishing, smishing or farming, denial distributed of service, and cyber quarting, bullying, and warfare. These are the different type of cyber threats, right? For example, I'm just giving you the information. When we are talking about the virus, everyone knows what is virus and how it can harm to your computer. Distributed denial of services, it means that, for example, there is a normal cafe. Normal cafe is receiving 100 requests daily for the orders, right? But in some day there is unnecessary traffic in the order system, and there is approximately 1,000 orders on that day for that cafe, which is actually all done by those individuals which don't have the actual orders. Okay, so there is unnecessary attack on the system. Due to this unnecessary attack, the traffic is overloaded, and those who actually want to order from that cafe has actually not reached to the cafe. The genuine request is not reached to the cafe, whereas the Unnecessary requests are there in that cafe, and this results in the denial of services to those who actually want the services. This is known as distributed denial of the services. Ransomware means someone is asking you money to give, okay, to be paid, so that they can just not publish the victim's data. So if you are a victim, for example, your any data is there with that person, they are demanding some ransom, okay, to avoid or to just avoid publishing that victim data, right? So this is known as ransomware. Malware, malware means the special programmers are just uh, crafting the duplicate software so that you can just what you can just trust that software and found it as an original one, and you enter your detail and your money will be lost. Okay, for example, there is a link which is sent to your mobile, and by opening that link you will are seeing the perfectly crafted software which seems to be original. Now you have done payment, okay, and that is the point where you lose your money because of the malware. Phishing, phishing means obtaining your sensitive information like user ID, passwords, or credit card details by an electronic communication, by phone, by messages. Okay, so this is actually obtaining your sensitive information by just using the electronic communication. That is known as phishing. Now, wishing is making you fool over the data or voice or calls, right? So this is known as phishing. Phishing is the illegal access of data over the internet protocol, right? Phishing is IP's telephonic version of phishing, right? Voice messages is given to steal your identities and financial resources. This is known as a phishing. Okay, so there is virus, there is distributed denial of services, ransomware, malware, phishing, and phishing. These are the different type of cyber threats you are all seeing across, right? So nowadays also you are seeing in news very much about these type of different type of cyber threats, right? Now, if we talk about the cyber risk mitigating strategies, yes, there are application whitelisting. Application whitelisting is there to control the execution of unauthorized software. There is patching application, which is to remedy the security vulnerabilities. There is Microsoft Office to block untrusted macros. Application hardening is to protect against vulnerable functionality. Restricting administrative privileges is to limit the powerful access. Patching operating system is to remediate known security vulnerabilities. Multi-factors authentication is to protect you against activities. Daily backups is actually to maintain the availability of uninfected critical data. Clear? So these are the important things. Last thing, there is network behavior anomaly detection. Okay, to spot your unusual and suspicious activity. It is actually you are behaving different from the other. For example, there is a party and you are just trying to behave differently from the other person, which actually detect that okay, there is something wrong with you. That is known as network behavior anomaly detection. Circumstances, I know that I open my computer, it will take 1 minute to open my computer, then I have to open this, the computer look like this. It's someday I've started my computer. First of all, the computer has taken 10 minutes to open. Then there are different type of unnecessary activities which is going on my computer, which actually make me aware that maybe there is something wrong in it. That is known as network behavior anomaly detection. Provides an approach to the network security threat detection. Okay, it is a way to spot unusual and suspicious activities in the network by watching how the things behave. Right, this is known as network behavior anomaly. We are going to discuss unit 50, that is the last unit for module C. PPB module C, the technology trends in the banking. E-rupee, fintech, regtech, supertech, hashtag banking, etc. So we are going to discuss about these in today's session, right? So let's start discussing this. First of all, we are talking about the e-rupee. First of all, e-rupee is what? So e-rupee is actually launched on 2nd of August 2021 by NPCI, National Payment Corporation of India. So NPCI they are actually managing this e-rupee, okay, which was launched on 2nd October 2021. E-rupee is actually an innovative digital solution, and it is a seamless one-time payment mechanism. When we are talking about e-rupee, e-rupee is a QR code or SMS string based e-voucher that is delivered to beneficiaries mobile. So as a beneficiary, you don't necessary to have a net or Wi-Fi or any application to use this e-rupee QR code, because this code is actually scanned by the merchant, right? So e-rupee is like a QR code or SMS string based e-voucher which is actually delivered to beneficiaries mobile, right? When we are talking about the users of e-voucher, they can redeem the voucher at the merchants who are actually accepting the e-voucher without the digital payment app, card, or internet banking. So if we talk about the users of e-voucher, they can redeem the voucher at the merchant accepting e-rupee without using any digital payment app, card, or internet banking. When we are talking about e-rupee should be shared by organization or government to their beneficiaries for the specific purpose or activity, and it is shared through SMS or QR code. For example, I am working in a Oliveboard, right? Now this company wants to send some gift voucher to the employees. For example, they have sent some e-based or e-voucher on my mobile number. I am the beneficiary. I have received that e-rupee, right? Now I can just go to any, for example, wellness center and just redeem that e-voucher and obtain the services. Then the issuer's bank, okay, is directly crediting the money to the voucher or to the merchant's bank account, right? So I don't have to use anything. Don't have to do anything. It is only a e-voucher which I have to present, and then I can avail the services against the value which is based on this e-rupee. E-rupee is a contactless, easy, safe, secure, okay, where all the details of the beneficiaries are kept confident or confidential, right? Who are there in the e-rupee ecosystem? So e-rupee can be issued in two core categories. When we are talking about e-rupee, they can be issued in two category: person to person category and business to consumer category. So if we talk about the e-rupee system, they can be issued in two categories. They can be issued in P2P, they can be issued in business to consumer, right, everyone? So now what are or who are involved in E2P transaction? Just give me 1 minute. Okay, so when we are talking about who are the major stakeholders in e-rupee, who are present in the e-rupee environment. So first of all, there is a issuer bank who are present. Okay, so issuer bank, they actually initiate the request to create the e-rupee. Okay, so there is a issuer bank. Issuer bank is the bank which actually received the request of issuing e-rupee. There is a sponsor. The sponsor can be any corporate or union government or state government. Like for example, in my example, Oliveboard is the sponsor. Then there is a beneficiary who is entitled to sorry, receive the free services against this e-rupee, right? There is a designated merchant to whom this e-rupee is scanned or accepted, and there is an acquiring bank. Acquiring bank means who has given that designated merchant the things to accept the e-rupee, right? So issuer bank is there, then there is an sponsor, then there is beneficiary, then there is a designated merchant, and then there is an acquired bank that is known as e-rupee. If we talk about e-rupee, e-rupee can be issued only by banks through authorized and which are authorized by Reserve Bank of India. So e-rupee is not issued by everyone. E-rupees are issued by only those who are authorized by Reserve Bank of India to issue prepaid payment instrument and who are eligible to participate in the payment service provider in the UPI ecosystem, right? If we talk about e-rupee, E-rupee shall be authorized for redemption only to purchase goods and services from a designated merchant. When we are talking about e-rupee, e-rupee cannot used for cash out or cash back on redemption. It is actually stored up to rupees 10,000 per voucher. No charges are payable by the beneficiaries. Plus, it is distributed only in a digital format. Okay. Now, what is the difference between e-rupee and UPI? So, obviously, there is a difference between e-rupee and UPI. When we are talking about the e-rupee is what it e-rupee is one type cashless contactless payment mechanism, whereas UPI is actually a application for receiving a payment of the money. E-rupee is an e-voucher. UPI is actually an application. Reserve Bank of India operates e-rupee, NPCI operates UPI. When we are talking about e-rupee voucher, it can be redeemed at service provider counter, whereas UPI is received or used for receiving and payment of the money, right? So this is the e-rupee and UPI. Now, there can be a hashtag banking. So hashtag bankings nowadays are used to increase the reach in the social medias, right? So there are certain bank words that has been used, and to increase the reach of that word, hashtag is used. For example, hashtag banking services, hashtag credit card services, hashtag fast tax services, hashtag loan services, hashtag FD services, hashtag block unblock cards. So these are different hashtags which are used in the banking to increase what? To increase the scope or to reach the scope or to just increase the customers' accountability in the particular post, which is done by the bank on social media sites and Twitters to actually engage people in the banking environment, right? Last is the account aggregator. Account aggregator is actually a RBI regulated entity that individually secured and digital access and share information from one financial institution to another financial institution, but within that account aggregated network. So within that account aggregated network, okay, there is the sharing of the information which is done, okay, from one financial institution and other financial institution, but that should be within the AA network. Then this is known as account aggregator, and it is regulated by whom? It is regulated by Reserve Bank of India. Now here the data cannot be sent without the consent of the individual. Individual consent is very necessary. Bell notification icon. Thank you so much, guys. Take care, everyone. Bye bye. Bye, everyone. Take care, guys. Bye, guys. Take care.